This is my doctor. Y'all heard that? And he writes out all of my scriptures. He gives me all my medicine in the room. I know it. I know I don't say nothing about it. I know I can't sing. That's all right. That's all. That's all right. Listen, I wanted to share on this Wednesday night Bible study prayer meeting. I wonder if you people can hear me. Yeah. Let's go this way. Turn it down some for me, please.
What, down the
TV, yeah. Turn it down some. Thank you. Wednesday in the Word with me, everybody. All right, I know it's been a while. I know it's been more than a minute since maybe you have seen me. Maybe it's been a minute since you've seen yourself too. But never you mind any of that, because I came to tell somebody today that regardless of what a hater had to say, hear me now, that God was still good, not just in over there, but he was good over here, and maybe even in your neighborhood too. Say that jokingly, but I say that in the biggest reality that I know how to express it, that he's been good. You know, it don't always feel like it. Sometimes it feels bad when you're going through it. You ain't gonna talk to me. It don't always work out the way that you thought that it was going to. It don't. You face like hard stuff. You go through like storms and stress and ships that you thought were gonna save you, and it ended up killing your entire family. I'm talking about sometimes you go through it. But you gotta know that if God called you to build it, or to ride on it, or to step aboard it, then you have to know that he believes that you'll make it through. See, you don't just come here and see it and die. If that was the case, you would have died a long time ago. But because you're still here, see, you got to be able to speak over yourself. I'm still here. That didn't take me out. I'm still here. That couldn't defeat me. I'm still here. I know Goliath was big, but he couldn't kill me. He just screaming at me. It's going to be loud sometimes. I know it, but it won't kill you. If it was going to kill you by the weight of the scream, you'd have died long time in the valley. You can't. So you can't give up so easily. You know what I mean? You can't, every time something happens, you give up. I quit. I'm done. I ain't doing it no more. Now, sometimes you do have to give up on some stuff and some people and some places and some situation and some goals and some dreams and some hopes too. You got to give up on a lot of stuff. I know it. But there's some stuff you got to stick out. There's some stuff you got to stick through. There's some stuff where you should never get in the habit of saying, I give up to. And that's going to be you. You got to be able to speak over yourself. If God created me and made me and petitioned of me to come all this way, he didn't drag me all the way here for me to just come here, get here, stand up here and be like, I'm done here. No, he didn't did that. It don't matter who leave, who stay. It don't matter who come or who wanna say something about it. It don't matter at the end of the day, because I know it's on me. It's on me. And the sign, listen to me, the sign that is on you, it's that when people want to support you or not, you can still hold your head up. If they want to come or not, if they want to sow into you or not, you'll still maintain it. You'll still get it. God will still preserve it, and he'll still be your God in it. See, you don't have to acclaim it. You ain't got to stretch it. You ain't got to prove it to nobody. Here's what I know. He says, if I be lifted, what he do? He says he'll draw the man. So he'll draw all the men. If you would but lift him. You're all around there dragging people out of ditches and dumpsters and stuff. If you would lift him, it'll lift your man. Y'all around here not trying to pray about it, but trying to be in a club and fight about it. And God was like, if you just lift me, I'll bring him. We carrying the man and the wife and the children and the family all together. And he's like, if you just lift me, I make it heavier on me, but lighter on you. I'll take that load on me. He says, if you just lift me, we got to learn how to lift. You hear me? You've got to learn. We got to learn how to lift him up. You got to lift him up and not give up. You got to lift him up and still be determined that it don't matter what, that I'm going to lift. I'm going to lift him up. I noticed in, Ephesians 2. No, Ephesians 6 and 10. It says that, 6 and 11. It says, therefore, brethren, put on the full armor of the Lord, that you may be able to stand the wiles of the enemy. It's what I did for devotion early this morning. But I thought about something there. Listen to this now. He says, I want you to put on the full armor. Catch it. But when you put on the armor, know that it stands as a symbol of what you will come to before you fight it. God already wore it. He said, the first place I need you to put it on is to put on the belt of truth. It's around your waist. I thought about that and I went down the instances of how many times it's heavy around you, but can't hold you. The evidence that God was bringing you through. Now, whether you say it or not, whether you speak on it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not, at the end of the day, I know that his belt has been holding me. I know that his hand has been preserving me. I know that his weight of love, of grace, of favor, of glory on me is the only reason I ain't fell apart. It says that I know that I have the belt holding it together. Catch it now. And then he said, not only put on the belt, but I need you to put on the breastplate. All right, so you got that? There's belt and then breastplate, okay? Of righteousness, right? Because it's in my heart. You got to play it up. It's right here. I ain't got to reach for it or grab it. I ain't got to go and cool down and wait for it. It's nothing that needs to be notioned. I ain't got to know 24 hours before time that you come in. I just come and I'm just being me. Being me is that it's on me. It's in me. It's around me. I love from this place. It's not played up. It's pumped up. He said belt, breastplate. Then he said shoes of the readiness of the gospel of peace. Catch that now. Belt, breastplate, shoes. Okay. Then he said, when you have on the shoes of the gospel and you're ready for peace, then I'll put it on your head. It's the helmet of salvation. Okay. After you take the helmet, then you'll have the sword. The sword that is the word. Okay. After you get the word, he says, then you'll have the shield of faith. I thought about that and I thought if God is giving it, then there must be some form of instance for evidence that we maybe missed it, that maybe we should go back and think about where God saw it necessary that I needed to wear it because he was the example who created it. He says, well, if you look at Jesus on the cross, catch it now. He says, every place I'm looking at, I'm asking you, every place I'm requiring you to put on the full armor is a place where they damaged him. He said, I want you to first put it on your feet. I want you to put it on your feet so that you'll always be walking and ready for the beating that's coming. For the people who won't reject, who won't accept you, they'll only reject you. For the people who you'll try and help and they'll only hurt, they won't see you as being a good light. But you got to have on the belt of truth. That's what it said first. which will lead you to the breastplate, which leads you to the shoes. But Jesus had to walk in the shoes of it for us to come here and testify and even deal with the verse. He had to be the walking word. You know what I mean? Like the walking example. That's when you don't get a second chance. That's when you don't get room to fall down and get back up and dust yourself off. That's when you ain't get no do-overs. And for some of you, you live there. Every time they do something, you easy to forgive them. Every time you hear something, you like, no, I'm just going to leave it alone. I ain't going. But the minute you breathe, the minute you roll out the bed the wrong way, the minute you come into the store and you trying, it's like you can't catch nothing but a break. It's something difficult when you're burdened to carry it for people who will never even know it. So I want you to put on the belt of truth, tied around your waist. So when you ever come to a place of thinking that you're going to fall apart, the truth is it was him holding you together. It was him that was pulling you on to your greater tomorrow. It was him that carried you when you wanted to give up and say you were through. It was him who tied you back together when he broke your heart. It was him who laid there with you and kept everything on the inside of you from coming out when you wanted to be through because they didn't come through for you. He said it was the belt around you. It was the belt around you that kept you. He says, I'll be the belt. I just want to be around your waist. He says, I want to hold you and let you know that I still care, still love, that I still commission, I still call. So I want it to be the truth that you wore on every outfit. Your accent was me. Your accessory was incomplete if you didn't have your belt around you. Says everything would fall apart consequently because there wasn't nothing holding you up unless you got the belt of truth around you. So everything just falls off you. He said that not only that, did Jesus go everywhere and speak his truth, but it was so heavy on him that he carried it over his heart. Amen. I believe that he didn't die from nails in his hands and nails in his feet. I believe that he died from a broken heart. And I think so many of us find ourselves in just that place where we have to guard it before we let people taint it. You got to begin to speak over your tomorrow that I'm not damaged from it, but I protected it in a place where I would have been manipulated. He says, I want you to guard your heart. That's what the verse says. But he says, I want you to not only guard it, but have the breastplate of righteousness over it so that you're rightfully dividing, here it is, how you should let them close or not. How you should be influenced by whether you can or not. Now, there's some places that you may want to. He said, no, I want you to understand this. Know that everything that looks good, it shouldn't be close to you. I don't want you to be like damaged from the unhealed of it. I want you to put the breastplate of righteousness over it. That if they can't love you from a righteous place, and there's some people you just need your space from. He says if they can't give it from a pure heart, then know that it'll be hard for them to hold your love because there's this broken, but you're keeping it from unshadowed. It's the breastplate of righteousness, right? It's right that you come and try and protect people. It's about I want you to guard it. So in your protecting, protect them, but still be on guard for you. And then he said, what was the belt? The sword? No, sorry. The belt, the breastplate, and then it was the shoes. The shoes of the readiness of the gospel of peace. So Jeremiah, let the people know that I want them to wear the shoes. I don't want them to struggle with the issues. I want them to put on the shoes. So when you can wear the shoes, then you can see that it's on your feet. And I feel like sometimes, God, I've been leading me to places that I didn't even know were for me. But he said that if you put the word around your feet, that he'll end up directing it. And you got to be commissioned in your petition of knowing that it was God who was directing. And so I'm not sure where I'm going, but I know that my feet are in the word. And so I'm walking in the way. It says, I'm not confused about which direction. Nowhere did it say stop and get a map. He just said walk with the gospel on your feet. And you got to be walking in the word. You hear me? Walking in your evidence that every time the enemy tried to come in with deception or deceit, I'm walking into my greater promise. I'm walking into my greater glory. I'm walking into my calling, my fulfillment. I'm walking in it because they nailed him to it. Y'all didn't think I was going to relate that, did you? Because Jesus' feet was nailed to the cross, but he commissions you to don't let nails stop you, even when you're restricted. You got to still have your foot in the word. I may have been put out, but I had my foot in the word. It may have didn't look like it was going to come back. It may didn't seem like it was going to work in my favor, but I had my foot in the word. Yeah. And you got to know, as long as you got a foot in it, it don't have to be the whole body, but God, I've got a, look, see that? I got a foot in it. Got a foot over in the promise of Isaiah, that I've been young and I've been old, but I've never seen the righteous forsaken. I got a foot in it. And then you come over here and you find out that John said somewhere in the beginning was the word. And that's good, because sometimes I don't know God, but I'll find the word. And the word was God. So when I find the word, I found him. You got to have a foot in it. And it said somewhere in Luke that around the 3rd to the 6th hour, that the sun refused to give his light because there was a foot over there. You hear me? You got to have a foot in it, that God is still intentional and purposeful. And he's still, you see him?
Thumbs up.
He said thumbs up. He said God is still intentional and purposeful. That even when the sun goes down, so you still got a foot in it. You ain't outside.
I said thumbs up for the video.
Thumbs up for the video.
Thumbs up for the video.
You got to have a foot on my coming out tomorrow. It may be dark over here, but my foot is over there. So I got my foot in the word. Some people didn't hear it. That's okay. Some people not going to believe it. That's okay. Some people, no matter what you say, it can be a direct word of support to them. They ain't going to hear it. So don't be consumed about that. Put your foot on it. And watch what he said he'll do. So then I'll give you the sword of the Spirit, which is the word. So I'm binding everything that stands against me and my family. I'm cutting. Every person who's not supportive but want to come and hang around and be negative, God grace you with the sword. If you don't kill you, I'm gonna cut it. He says I've got to be guarded with who I hang with in this season, because some people will have a weapon and God will be using them to reveal to you that they're the weapon that's stopping you, especially when you're performing them too. We got to move people, release people, move things, release some stuff. We got to stop being tied to it, believing that God will only do this over here. So no, man, I'm bigger than that. I'm greater than that. There is no cap where you thought he'd stop here. It's like, wait a minute. You got to stop thanking God for what he's about to do. And you got to start thanking him for being omnipresent, that it's already done for you. Oh man, I'm not thanking him that he's about to, because he's already done it. I'm not doubting him to say that this just caught him off guard. He just had to playing around my seeing it, that God just now caught it. God been did it. And I'm thankful that it's done. I'm thankful that it's restored. I'm thankful that you paid for it. I'm thankful that you gave it back. I'm thankful that you kept it. I'm thankful that I'll never see it again. I'm thankful that you took it. I'm thankful that I came out. I'm thankful that you turned me up. I'm not thanking you for what you're about to. No. I'm thankful for what you've already. I'm thankful for it already. It's already done.